Imagine waking up in a cold, damp hut. There's no electricity, no clean water. You're hungry, covered in lice, and there's something crawling in the straw you sleep on. Outside, a knight gallops past with blood still dripping from his sword. You are not safe. Not from war, not from disease, not from the law, and certainly not from your neighbors. Welcome to medieval England, a time of filth, fear, and feudalism. People didn't just survive here, they suffered. And unless you were lucky, rich, or blessed by the church, odds are you wouldn't last a week. So buckle up, because you're about to learn exactly why you wouldn't survive medieval England. Let's start with something simple. You're feeling unwell, a fever, maybe a cough. No NHS, no antibiotics, no thermometer. You go to a physician if you can afford one, but more likely you'll meet a barber surgeon, a monk, or a local herbalist. Your treatment, bloodletting, leeches, pigeon guts, hot irons, urine charts. In fact, physicians believed your body was ruled by 4 humors. Too much of one, that's disease. The cure, cut you open and drain you. Plague, untreatable. Broken bone, pray it doesn't get infected. Childbirth, often fatal for both mother and child. In a world without anesthesia or sterilization, the doctor was often more dangerous than the disease. Forget your morning shower. In medieval England, hygiene was barely a concept. People bathed every few months, if that. The average peasant wiped their hands on straw or rinsed in water animals also drank from. Toilets? Think bucket, ditch, or street. Chamber pots were tossed from windows. Public spaces reeked. And then there were the privies, rat-infested, fly-covered pits. Infections thrived. Open wounds festered. No antiseptic, no soap. This wasn't just disgusting, it was a health crisis. Steal a loaf, lose a hand. Speak out of turn, lose a tongue. Witchcraft, get burned, forget fair trials. Welcome to trial by ordeal. Carrying hot iron, being submerged in water. If you survived, God had judged you innocent. If not, you were guilty. There were no defense lawyers, no mercy, and no justice unless you were rich. The law wasn't about truth. It was about control through terror. Most people were peasants, bound to land they didn't own. You worked 6 days a week from sunrise to sunset. You paid taxes in crops. You couldn't read. You couldn't leave. You had no rights. Climbing the ladder? That was a dream for another century. Your role was survival, and if you got too old, too weak, or too sick, you were left behind. If the harvest failed, you starved. It was that simple. No supermarkets, no food banks. Bread, ale, and wild greens kept you going. In hard times, bark, weeds, even sawdust. Winter was deadly. Spoiled food, famine, and freezing temperatures could wipe out entire villages. Even hunting could cost you your life. Poaching on a noble's land was a capital crime. Food wasn't nourishment. Food was survival. The church controlled not just your Sundays, but your afterlife. They told you how to live, what to believe, and what would happen if you didn't obey. They demanded tithes. They sold indulgences. They controlled education, law, and politics. Challenge them, you'd be tortured, excommunicated, or executed. The church held unquestioned power over your soul and your survival. Battles weren't just fought far away. Sometimes they found you. Raids, rebellions, foreign invasions, every generation saw war. For commoners, war meant lost homes, lost food, and often lost lives. Knights rode into glory. You were left behind, forgotten. You lived in fear of spirits, curses, and omens, magic, astrology, relics. These were medicine, science, and faith rolled into one. A sneeze could mean your soul left your body. A black cat could mean doom. A crooked back, you'd been cursed. The world was unknowable, so people believed in what they had: fear, rituals, and the hope that maybe, just maybe, they'd survive another day. So could you survive medieval England? No painkillers, no safety nets, no modern comforts, just disease, violence, hunger, war, and fear, wrapped in the cold stone walls of a brutal society. Yet somehow people did survive, and through their struggle, they built the world we now live in. So next time you complain about your internet speed or cold coffee, remember you're only here because someone survived a time you almost certainly wouldn't.